And our scene is set as Emma Bellafleur's car arrives into the parking lot of the Church of St. Augustine. She has had quite an eventful night and hurries inside to seek the counsel of the prince, for she has important news to deliver. She had contacted his school like normal, and his instructions this time was for her to meet him in the night chapel beneath the church. She knows the way by this point, and she finds that the church doors are unlocked. When she steps inside, the church is quiet. There are no crews working tonight. Off in the distance, she can see that this church and surrounding is quiet. Perhaps this is part of the good father's own caution in the threat that has been placed upon the city. Or perhaps the workers are just somewhere else at the moment. After all, there's always things to repair, things to build. She makes her way down the staircase towards the false entrance, utilizing the latent ability as a Lysandra. She's easily able to remove the brick and open the door. The hallway beyond, you can see, is faintly illuminated. It is not the normal darkness that greets you this time.
As Emma gets down the stairs, she takes out her hoodie, which she has come to wear now that with all the trouble she doesn't dress the way she usually does. She wears a more boyish outfit, and as she goes down the stairs, she takes out her hoodie and takes out her cap and lets her hair run loose and gets to the bottom of the stairs and starts looking for the father.
It does not take her long to find him. As she enters the night church, with the black painting above the unseen eye looking down, and all lining the walls, the statues of great kindred of the past, one for each of the 7 founding clans of the Camarilla, with one defaced, only one. She finds Father Alvarez at the very end of the hallway. He's standing in front of a new fixture to the night chapel, in place where an empty altar stood to symbolize the absence of God in the face of the abyss, that yawning, invisible realm beyond the sight of man for their own safety, but intimately connected to the clan of the shadow. You will see Prince Alvarez standing before a rather ornate-looking throne that now sits in the place where there was absence before. He's just looking at it, examining it, and as your footfalls echo in the chapel, he will turn and face you.
Emma will say, "My prince, I have a most interesting news to report."
Then I will not keep you. What do you have to report, Emma? Pray that it is good news. We certainly need some with the events of the recent night.
She'll say, well, sir, I guess I will disappoint you with the first one. And she reaches into her backpack and she gets a letter out. She has her gloves on, so not to get any more fingerprints than she more than she already did when she first took the letter. And she goes, look at this, and you see the letter that says to the owner, and she says, I think the hunters sent this. They seem to want justice.
Is the letter open for the father to read?
Yes.
His eyes follow the writing. Again, he is impassive in his facial expression. But even Emma, as she has been in closer proximity with the prince, knows that he is showing effort to hide emotion at reading this. He'll look at Emma now and say, well, Miss Bellafleur, let us see if my last lesson has done any good. What do you see from this letter?
She says, if I see a reason to maybe get out of this situation, if we got enough information out of the masquerade ritual, we could just deliver him to them. And also see that the hunters are or could run into and shall think into rash actions if we do not apply to what they demand.
You are learning. This is good. Continue to learn from the experience the city will give you, and you will grow into a fine La Sombra.
She'll smile. She
But you
goes, thank you.
you
Yes.
miss one small detail. If these hunters were connected to this murdered individual, we can assume at this point that they are talking about the lady who was killed by the fledgling.
Yes.
There have been no other connections to the hunters besides that. What was a hunter doing in our city to begin with?
She'll say, maybe what they refer to as the week of darkness brought them.
Good. This is what I tried to warn the former prince about. This is what I tried to warn everyone about. This is why we need to find out such threats and exterminate them before they attract unwanted attention. The darkness that underlines the city is a beacon for individuals like these hunters. Their presence in the city is a sign of our failing, sign of the theocracy's failing. But the escalation, that is someone else's fault, and they will be punished for the danger they brought upon this princeum. But then that begs the question. A fledgling is not responsible for their own actions, Emma Bellafleur. Even you know that. A fledgling's actions falls upon the head of their sire. And we have yet to know of who that is.
Schlossbaum says yes. That's what I meant by if we had enough information out of him, we should not deliver him if we do not have the name of his sire. Poor fledgling, I do not want to deliver him, but if it saves the city, I guess that's what should be done.
Hmm. Prince looked pensive for a moment. His eyes turned toward some of the statues that line the walls before they flicked back to you. Tell me, Miss Bellafleur, who do you think is the most diplomatic kindred you've met in this city?
Sure
The
thing.
one to least offend, the one who best personifies the masquerade.
Sure thing. Shall say. Miss Blackmoon is very good until she starts losing control. I would say you are, my prince.
I am flattered by your kind words. But for this next part I cannot go. It would be a little too disastrous for the princedom if something were to happen to me. No, we need someone else. Besides me and besides Miss Blackmoon. For you are right. So far.
Shall say the toreador by the name of Innocenti are our harpy seems to be a good politician. Also, Calliope, she seems to know what to say, when to say, and when to say it. And she seems to know how to talk to different people.
It's interesting. All of the people you mentioned were there when we awoke our unfortunate gangrel friend. I saw how Mr. Innocenti handled the situation. I do not think he would be good for what I have planned, but Calliope, on the other hand, she handled herself very well and proved that she was not without a few tricks up her sleeve. You're friends with Calliope, I assume, correct?
Yes, very good friends.
If I am not mistaken, her cabaret was one of the places that was marked on that map that you recovered from the hunter who was following you.
Yes, it was, unfortunately.
So that means they already know about it.
Yes, I believe she got the same letter as Mr. Graves' mortuary.
Hmm. Tell me, Emma, next to, well, our unfortunate friend, and apparently this Miss Tavelaris, you are the one who has interacted the most with these individuals. Who would you say is their leader? Do we know who is their leader?
Hmm. I'd say it's either Father Victor or one. One told me to that a certain Father B would be happy to welcome me at St. Paul's.
Again, Prince's face is impassive. A few seconds pass before he responds, and he says, I need you to deliver a message from me to Miss Tavalaris. You know her. You should be able to talk to her on a more connected level. We need more information on these hunters. It is one thing to attack one of our own and to deliver him to us alive, and then to give out demands claiming further retribution. These individuals seem to be a little, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? As the prince pauses for a moment. I believe you would say all over the place. Do you
Yes.
disagree?
Because no, they do seem to be, at least a few of them, if they manage to follow me, well, they seem to follow a few of us at the same time.
I want you to ask on behalf of me, of Miss Tavalaris, to send an invitation to this Father Vic. An invitation so that both kindred and hunters can, in a way, let all of this animosity into the open. That way we can truly understand the situation that we now find ourselves, and maybe just possibly find out the information we need about who sired that fledgling. Make it known that if she succeeds and gets the information we need on behalf of myself, I will owe her one major boon. So long as she's able to deliver.
She'll say, I will report back to her. And she'll say, guys, about the hunters, seem to have, I contacted people I know about the dancing, the hunter that seemed to be a dancer from what Calliope had told us at the meeting. I couldn't get a name, but I did manage to get a phone number.
Perhaps that will work just as well. We know this Father Vic is connected to the hunters in some way, and these hunters have done a annoyingly effective job of discovering some of our havens. What's important any further information about our city to ensure the masquerade does not fray more. That is why I wait for this liaison, as it were. If things go well, you may need to call upon this other hunter. If they are not as unified as we had originally guessed, we might be able to use this to our advantage.
She
What do
says
you say?
if Father Vic is part of them, I don't think they are that unified. When I talked to Father Vic and the way he talked to me, and now that I know he knew what it was, he seemed a lot more not laid back, but a lot more conservative and more defensive than whoever wrote that letter.
Hmm. As the prince hears what you say, he pauses again for a brief moment as he soaks in the meaning.
She goes, this of course can
Perhaps there,
be. Shall say
continue.
this of sorry. Shall I say yes? This of course can be taken advantage of if things spin out of control.
Do not forget that very soon we may have to deal with larger threats than just hunters in our city. As long as this incursion does not spin any more out of control, we may yet be able to come out ahead. So, like I said, deliver my request to Miss Tevlars. Let her know of how important it would be for the city, of how, after what she displayed at the mortuary, she has proven that she may very well be just as capable as her wit has demonstrated, and that if she does this, her favor will not be forgotten. Now, is there anything else you need bring to my attention?
She says, "Oh yes," and she'll put her backpack down, and she says, "Now to get to the matter of Mr. Graves' mortuary." And
Ah, yes.
as she opens the backpack, she goes, "Do you know the TV show? I'm not sure you do. You probably don't. Do you know the TV show The Walking Dead?"
The prince, his face is impassive. He does not say anything, he simply just looks at the backpack. And what he is sincerely hoping you are not going to pull out of said backpack.
And she'll say, "Well, it seems," and as she takes a book out, it seems the it seems our Cappadocian friend had a few zombies in his mortuary.
Zombies. A masquerade. Breaching abomination within the city bounds of Reno. Is that what you are telling me, Emma?
There is more to it too.
Where did you find them?
They were behind the large metal door, the one that we didn't find a key to. And she'll smile. She goes, I made my own key. I, of course, I made sure the door was properly closed before leaving.
How many of them were there?
2.
Have they been disposed of?
She goes, I didn't want to get rid of them before telling you about them.
Miss Bellafleur, if you were to ever see a walking breach of the masquerade, even if it is behind locked doors, it is your duty as a member of the Camarilla to destroy it. But nonetheless, showing caution is not to be frowned upon. You are beginning to learn the ins and outs of a Camarilla city, and for that, I am proud of you. Nonetheless, I want, by the end of this night, for those zombies to be taken care of.
Very well.
Make sure they will not move anymore. Was there anything else
She'll
you
say yes.
found?
There was this book. It seems to be about Mr. Graves' research, I would say. I am not sure. I do not read German.
Do you have it with you?
Yes, she's actually handing the book to the prince.
He takes Graves' research notes. He looks through it. The prince, unbeknownst to her, has always been very good with languages, but unfortunately German is one he has not quite mastered. He can only make out a few words as he flips through the pages. He then smiles and says, "You have done very well, Emma."
She'll say, if German is not one of the languages you understand, I believe Calliope might be able to help there again. I'm not sure if she reads it, but she sure seemed to understand it when Mr. Grace spoke it.
I will keep that under consideration. Unfortunately, I would prefer that this book be translated within our faction. If this material held the secret to the research Grave was experimenting with, it would be better for it to fall into theocracy hands than to any faction our Miss Calliope belongs to, if any at all. She may be unique among the Toreador in that she seems to be far more competent than most. She is Toreador nonetheless, and they are known for their loose lips.
She said, there's one more thing. And she'll look worried. She'll say, do you, do you know what? Well, you probably do. This is actually a question. I do not know what they are. I've heard of them in TV shows and such, but apparently they seem, for what Mr. Graves' notes said, um, wraith. Do you know what a wraith is? Aren't they ghosts or some kind?
I have heard that term before. It was a long time ago, though, in Paris. I cannot tell you much about this phenomena, but I do know that Sister Mary Celeste would know a great deal more than I. It is unfortunate that she seems to be as preoccupied in the moment as her wayward child, but nonetheless, I will see if we have any information in our small yet humble archive here. Or you're free to research yourself if you wish. I can show you the path.
Yes, that might be good. Because I came up on this word when I was looking at a blackboard. That actually the blackboard and the book all seem to be in the same room as the zombies. And on the blackboard was written the words "must save her, must save her, must save her, cannot let her die." And then I recognize Angelica's name, Angelica being Mr. Graves' ghoul, and then Wraith written beside her name.
Hmm. Again, the prince is almost a statue, pondering those words. It becomes more obvious he is doing his best, straining not to betray any emotion going on right now. You do notice that, despite his best effort, lines do appear upon his brow, hinting at a great exhaustion that is upon his mind. He will say, "It seems our dear Mr. Graves had been delving into black matters, Emma. I do not know much, but the last time I heard about kindred experimenting with the souls of the departed, or, if you are to believe such things, or possibly just the lingering echo of the scream, they were not going by the name Cappadocian. Do you understand what I mean, Emma?"
Yes, the
Good.
so guys, I guess you are referring to the Italian cousins, the ones who seem to have disappeared.
Yes. This is not going to bode well for our Cappadocian friend. His doings must remain a secret for now. Tell me, have you told anyone about this discovery of yours?
No, I came straight here after discovering about what was behind the metal door. I did tell Calliope about the letter. That is all.
All right. By my order as prince, you are not to breathe a word of what you found beyond the metal door. In regards to what was on the blackboard, to anyone without my express permission first. If the wrong person heard, then I would be forced to hand over this information to the Balefire Coalition, our allies in the Camarilla, the union between Clan Salubri and Clan Cappadocian, the Eldritch Alliance. And with it, well, Mr. Graves' fate would be up to them, not I.
Oh, well.
So if that is all of the bad news for the night.
She goes, well, it's enough bad news, and yes, it's all there is. Unfortunately, that is all I managed to find at the mortuary.
You've done well, Emma. Not only that, but you have proven to be a outstanding investigator, and you have made inroads with members of Clan Toreador, and possibly our friends. In Reno's finest. You will do well as a cleric here. But that does bring up the next part, is as a member of the theocracy, you are free to begin carving domain of your own. Have you found a proper haven first?
She
A
says,
proper...
she says, I have a haven, yes.
If you need any assistance, now that you are a full-fledged member of this coterie, do not hesitate to ask. While half of my duties, but being Prince, I am also now the Archdeacon of this coterie. I am the intermediary between this princedom and the Vatican. It also means that currently we do not have a prefect for this coterie. And while most certainly it will go to a member of our faction who will be chosen by me for their years of service or be recommended by the Vatican and sent over here. The efforts you make now will grow like seeds planted in fertile soil. And so, in time, your power and influence within the city will grow with them. I would highly recommend, as Archdeacon, to begin planting these seeds, Emma. Find those souls who you best can shepherd. Find a haven that will serve not only as a place to rest your physical body, but also your mortal soul. Plan towards your future. You will regret it if you do not. Trust me on that.
Very well.
In that case, you have my leave.
And she'll bow. She goes, good evening, my prince. I will take care of the zombies, and I will then, if it's too late to report back to Calliope, I will come back here to. She goes, well, the haven I have is under watch for now. So I
I'd almost forgotten. You are free to access the dormitory. There is another false switch by the statue belonging to Clan Toreador. Don't know why on earth he put it there, but that is not my place to question. For those plans were laid down long before I came to the city.
very well. And she will bow. She goes, says, good evening, my prince.
Good evening, Miss Bellafleur. And
And
as Emma walks off, please continue.
yes, well, as Emma gets off the stairs, she gets out of the chapel and out of the night chapel and gets into the usual chapel. And as she She stops right at the top of the stairs and then ties her hair back up, puts her cap back on, and then puts her hoodie, and then goes out in the night of midnight.
As Emma leaves the church, Prince examines the throne again. He smiles, and he sits down on it, looking out over what was once a place of silent penance, and now his throne room. And a smile cannot help but cross his face as he says, "Oh, how they grow indeed." As he will lean back, a chain with a key will move beneath the shirt, and below the eye of the unblinking abyss in the night church, beneath the mortal parish of St. Augustine, our scene will end. Thank you for watching.